Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 3-3 of May-June 2020 of A-Level Pure Math. So in this paper, we are going to be doing all the questions step by step, and I will try my best to explain every questions as detailed as possible. The whys and the hows will be explained as well on the questions. So with that being said, let's move on to question number 1. So here we have to solve the inequality. Modulus of 2x minus 1 is more than 3 times modulus of x plus 2. So now basically we're trying to find x, the values of x, right? But as you can see, you have modulus on both sides. So whenever you have something like this, just square both sides. Make your life easy. Square both sides. So you'll have 2x minus 1 square, 3 modulus plus 2, and of course you will square. Now, once you square, it will just remove the modulus from both sides. You will have this first one will be expanded to 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 is more than 9 times. Here we have x squared plus 2 times 2 x plus 4. Okay, so just to explain to you, how do you expand something? For example, how do you expand this? So we have 2x minus 1 square. So the way we expand this is we take the first value square, which is 2x squared will be 4x squared. Okay. Then we take 2 times this value times this value. So 2 times 2x is 4x times minus 1 is minus 4x. Then we take this value square. So minus 1 square is just 1. That's how we get this value. Now, if you don't know how to do that, no problem. You can write this down again as this times this and expand step by step. No big deal, right? So basically we have to expand and simplify both sides. So right now we have the same thing on the left hand side, and we have to simplify the right hand side. You will have 9 times this will be 9x squared. This is 4, right? 4. So 9 times 4 will be plus 36x and plus 36. Now we have to bring all the values to one side. So 9 minus 4 will be 5x squared. 36 plus 4 will be 40x. 36 minus 1 is plus 35. Now let's rearrange this. We will have 0 is more than this. It means that this will be less than 0. Yeah. So by rearranging, we have this equation. Now, as you can see, we can divide everyone by 5 because they are all multiples of 5. You will have x squared plus 8x plus 7 less than 0. So now we have a simple quadratic equation. So we have to first find the critical values of x. So we take the same equation, which is this, and we have to equate to 0. Now we can just factorize. X squared is x times x. 7 is 7 times 1. To get plus 8, we have to have plus 7 and plus 1. So your values will be x is minus 7, x is minus 1. But these are the critical values and not your final answer. Now for your answer, you have to go back to your main equation here. You have to draw its graph. This is 1, right? It is a positive value. So your graph will look something like this, like a minimum curve. And this is the line 0. And here we have our critical values. That is minus 7 and minus 1. But in this case, we need the values to be less than 0, which means below the line. So we need it to be this one, right? So that is only possible when x is between minus 7 and 1. And that is your answer for question number 1. So just to recap, whenever you have something like this with modulus on both sides, or with just one side, usually both sides, not one side. One side you can have a graph, but both sides, just square it, expand, simplify, and you will have your equation to factorize, and then use your graph to find your value. Okay, that will be question number 1. Now let's move on to question number 2. So here we have to find the exact value, you see. So sometimes you may forget this. Your question is asking you for your exact value, not decimal values, okay, for this integration. Now, this one is an algebra function. This one is an exponential function. Now, every time if you see an exponential function, that will be your dv, and this will be your u. Okay, so exponential function will always be your dv. Just remember that. So this is integration by parts. The formula is uv minus this, and then it will be v times du. Okay, so let's find those values in this equation. So we know u is equal to 2 minus x, so du will be equal to minus 1, right? Now we have dv is equal to exponential 2 minus x, so v will be exponential this and divided by minus 2. Now replace everything back in your equation to see what happens. So we have u is this one, times v is this one, minus integration of v is this one again. Now we have minus 2, we can just write 2 and write plus here, okay? And then we have times du is minus 1, right? And then dx. Now we have to integrate this one. So let's do this on the side. So what is the integration of this one? So it will become, so we have something like this for now, right? That will give you same thing, minus exponential minus 2x. We have 2 here. It is only a multiple at first, but we have to divide by minus 2 again. So your answer will be exponential minus 2x over 4. So this thing become this. Now we just have to replace this value back in your equation, okay? So always proceed step by step. If you try to do everything at once, it may confuse you. So step by step always help you to find the right answer. Now, here we have exponential minus 2x over 2, that is minus here, and we have 2 minus x, and this we know became this one, so plus exponential minus 2x over 4. And of course now we have to put back the limits of our integration, which was 1 0. Okay, 1 0. So it's always best if you write this here as well and here as well. Okay, 1 0 and 1 0. Now let's see what other values we can have for this expansion. First, let's choose the value of x to be 1. You will have minus exponential 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 plus exponential minus 2 over 4. Now bracket minus, now x will be 0, so minus exponential 0 over 2 times 2 plus exponential, that will be 0 again over 4. Now we have to simplify step by step always. This one will be what? That will be minus exponential power minus 2 over 2. Here will be plus exponential power minus 2 over 4, right? And this we have to minus. Now exponential 0 will be always be 1. 2 will cancel out, so you'll have minus 1, yeah? And this is plus 1 over 4. Now we have to simplify one by one again. So this one will give you what? Minus 4 plus 1/4. That should give you 3 over 4 minus 2 over 4. Okay. So this will give you what? Let's try this here. You will have exponential minus 2. So minus over 2 plus exponential power minus 2 over 4. So let's add those two fractions together. So first thing we have is we have different base. Let's make it become the same base. So 4 is the same base. Then to make this become 4, we have to multiply by 2. We have also to multiply this one by 2 as well. Okay, so that will be minus 2 exponential minus 2 plus exponential minus 2. That will give you exponential minus 2, sorry, minus here, don't forget that, over 4. So this is the answer for this. This becomes minus exponential minus 2 over 4 minus 3 over 4. Now minus minus becomes plus, so your answer will be 3 over 4 minus exponential minus 2 over 4. Now if you want to factorize the 4 out, you can do 1 over 4 outside, 3 minus exponential minus 2. And this is your answer for question number 2. So just to explain, when you have two different kind of function, algebra exponential, if you have algebra logarithm, if you have algebra trigonometry, you have to use integration by parts. And this is the formula for integration by parts. Now to choose which one is going to be u or dv, we have to look at the technique we call LATE. Now u is algebra, so algebra happens first here, a will be happening first than exponential. So whichever happens first will be your u. For example, let's say I have to integrate x ln x. So here it is algebra, but here it is logarithm. Since logarithm happens first, we have to make this become u, and this will become dv. Okay, so just to understand, we have to use this technique to choose which one is going to be u or v. And then, for example, here, exponential is at the end, so it will have to be dv. And algebra was here before exponential, so it has to be u. But here we have logarithm is before algebra, so logarithm will be u, and this will be dv. So this is the way to choose which one you're going to use. It works most of the times, and there should be no problem. And we have step by step. Do not rush in those questions. Always do step by step, and then in the end you should get your answer to be this. That will be your question number 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. Show that this equation is equal to 0 can be expressed as a quadratic equation. Now, as always, proceed step by step. So at first we have ln of 1 plus exponential minus x plus 2x is equal to 0. So now I can simplify. Let me send this over here. You have ln of 1 plus exponential minus x equal to minus 2x. Now I can send ln over here. So for you to do that, you have to know something is, if you have ln of a equal to b, if you want to eliminate ln, you can send ln to the other side. It will become exponential b. Okay, so same way here, you will have 1 plus exponential minus x. When you send this over here, it becomes exponential minus 2x. Okay, now we can rearrange this. You will have 1 plus 1 over exponential x, right? And this is 1 over exponential 2x. Now we want to simplify this for us. Let's multiply everywhere by exponential 2x. Yeah, so here you will have exponential 2x plus exponential x equal to 1, and finally you can write exponential 2x plus exponential x minus 1 equal to 0. So now if you don't see it yet, we can do that. We can exponential x square plus exponential x minus 1 equal to 0, and that should be your quadratic equation for part A. Now part B, hence mean we have to use the previous answer. We have to solve this equation, giving your answer correct to 3 decimal place. So always look for the question what it is asking you for your answer. So here we have to give your answer to 3 decimal place. Okay, so we have this became exponential square plus exponential power x minus 1. Now if you don't like working with this, what we can do is we can let u equal to exponential power x. So that will be u square plus u minus 1 equal to 0. So now we have to use our formula. So u is equal to minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4 times a times c. All this divided by 2a. That will be minus 1 plus minus root of 1 plus 4 over, so 1 minus minus become plus 4, and that will be over 2. So u will be minus 1 plus minus root 5 over 2. So we have to know that u is actually exponential of x, right, power x, and this value is always going to be positive, so we cannot take the negative value. So u can only be minus 1 plus root of 5 minus 2, because we can only take a positive value. Now let's evaluate this. Minus 1 plus root 5 divided by 2. That will be 0.618. Now this is the value for u, but we want to find the value for x. U is equal to exponential power x, that will be 0.618. So x will be ln of 0.618. So ln of answer, that should be minus 0.481. Answer correct to 3 decimal place. Now here we use something else. Let's say we have exponential of x is equal to a. So x will have to be, when you send exponential to the other side, it will become ln of a. Okay, we use this here to find the value. Now let's say if you did not know this thing, right? Sometimes we may forget or you don't know. We can just solve for both values. We can solve for the negative values as well. So let's say if I choose the negative value, u will be equal to what? Let's check. Minus 1 minus root of 5, that will be minus 3.24, for example. Now you will have x will have to be ln of minus 3.24. We can check on our calculator. You will have ln of answer, that will give you math errors. In that case, you will know that it is not a possible value, so you will be rejected and you will end up with only one value, which is this one. And that will be your question number 3. Now let's move on to question number 4. So here we have to find the equation. So now we have to find dy by dx given the equation of a curve. The curve is x times tan inverse of half of x. Now in this case we have to use a product rule because it is a product of two functions. So dy by dx will be a product rule. So let's do that. Dy by dx is equal to, we can leave tan inverse first by itself, times d by dx of this one will be 1, then plus the first one and times d by dx of tan inverse of half x. So how would you find that value? So let's check. Let's do this step by step. So first step is to let y equal to tan inverse of half x. So you will know that from this we can derive tan y is equal to half x. X will be 2 tan y. Yes. Now we can find dx by dy. That will be 2 is only a multiple. Tan y will be sec square y. So, but we don't want this, we want dy by dx, right? So dy by dx will be, we have to flip this upside down. You will have 1 over 2 sec square y. Now, what is sec square y? You will see on your list of formulas, it will be given to you. Sec square y is given by 1 plus tan square y. Now, you know tan y is this value. What is tan square y? So tan square y will be this value square. That will be 1 over 4 x square. So replace back here, you will have sec square y is equal to 1 plus 1 over 4 x square. Now replace back in the main equation. Here you will have 1 over 2 times sec square y is 1 plus 1 over 4 x square. Now we can simplify. You will have 1 over 2 plus, that will become 1 over 2 x square. Now we can simplify the base first. So let me write this down here. On the base we have 2 plus half x square. So what is 2? 2 is just 2 over 1. We have to add two fractions together. That will become the same base of 2. And you will have 4 plus x square. Now, whenever you have to, so right now you will have 1 over 4 plus x square over 2. Now, we can send this 2 up, right? You will have 2 over 4 plus x square. So that will be the answer for this one, dy by dx. So replace back in your main equation. So that will give you what? So you will have tan inverse of half x plus x times 2 over 4 plus x squared. Okay, now you can simplify some more. You can leave your answer just like that. That is good enough. Okay, that will be your answer. Let me write this down again. Let me use a different color here. That will be tan inverse of half x plus 2x over 4 plus x squared. That will be your answer for dy by dx. Okay, that will be for part A. Now for part B, the tangent to the curve at the point where x equal to 2 meets the y-axis at the point with this point, right? Find the value of p. So for us to find the value of p, we must first find the tangent. So there's a reason why they told you the tangent to the curve, because you have to find the tangent first. So we know that to find the equation of tangent, so first off, what is a tangent? It is a straight line. We know that we have to first find the gradient, right? And gradient is equal to dy by dx. So let's write this down. Gradient is equal to dy by dx. Now we have to find the gradient dy by dx at the point where x equal to 2. Okay, so replace back, you will have tan inverse half times 2 plus 2 times 2 over 4 plus 2 squared. So let's find the values. So as you guys know, that will cancel out. Tan inverse of 1 is 45 degrees, and that will be pi by 4 plus, this is 4 over, that is 4 plus 4 is 8. Now we have to simplify. So let's divide by 2. You will have 2 here, you will have 4 here. So you'll have pi plus 2 over 4. That is your gradient at that point. Now next question is, we have to find the equation. Now at the point where x equal to 2, what is the y value? We have to know that to find the equation. So let's go back to the curve. When x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2 times tan inverse of 1. That will be 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. That is your value of y. So the point will be 2 and pi over 2. That is the passing point we have to use to find the equation of tangent. Okay, so we have the point 2 and pi over 2. This is your x coordinate and this is your y coordinate. Now to find the equation of a line, we use a trick, not trick, but the method that we use is y on top minus this value, pi by 2, divided by x minus this value, and that should give you the value for your gradient. Okay, sorry, 4 here. Now this is basically your equation of your line. We just have to cross multiply. You will have 4y minus 2 pi is equal to x minus 2 times pi plus 2. Okay, that is your equation of your tangent. So you don't need to expand because this is not what we're looking for, but this helps us to look for what we're looking for. Now, the tangent to the curve at this point, which is this one, meets the y-axis. Okay, at the point, this point. So we know the y-axis, the x value is 0. Find the value of p. P is your y and this is your x. Replace back in your equation. So you will have 4 times p minus 2 pi equal to 0 minus 2 is minus 2 times pi plus 2. That will be 4p is equal to minus 2 pi minus 4 plus 2 pi. Okay, so this one will cancel out as you can see, and p will be minus 4 divided by 4, and that is minus 1. So your value of p will be equal to minus 1. So as you can see, do not rush, always go through the step by step, and in most cases the question itself helps you to find your answer. Here they told you this happened, so you have to use the information given to you to find your answer. Now as always, you have to know gradient of a curve means dy by dx. Okay, so you have to know that, and that's it. So and then when you have to find d by dx of a tan inverse, you have to use this method to find that. Okay, and that will be your question number 4. Now let's move on to question number 5. So here we have to, by first expressing tan theta and tan theta plus 45 degrees equal to 2 cot 2 theta as a quadratic equation in tan theta, then solve this. So we have to first simplify this into a quadratic equation. So how can we do this? So you will be given a list of formula to help you with that. So let's do step by step. So let's begin with the left hand side. So tan theta is just tan theta, right? And now what is tan theta plus 45? So we have to expand this to see what is the values of this. So let me see if my list of formulas around here. I can show you guys where is the value that we're looking for. Just give me one moment. Okay, I think I found it. So as you can see, we have this formula given to you. Tan A plus B or minus B is equal to this. So we have to use this to expand this. So here we have tan theta plus 45, and that should be giving you, so tan theta is the same, right? This is one multiplied by what? So on top you will have tan theta. When you have plus, that stays plus here, and tan 45 divided by 1 minus tan theta and tan 45. So now we have to simplify. You will have tan theta bracket, this is tan theta, and tan 45 is an exact value, you can check. So let's use degrees. Tan 45 is just 1, okay, plus 1. Now divide by 1 minus tan theta. Okay, that will be your left hand side. What is this one expand to? Let's check. So on the right hand side we have 2 cot 2 theta. Now what is the value? What is cot? You know, cot is basically, so this is 2, cot is 1 over tan, so you have tan 2 theta. Now how would you expand this? So same thing, going back to your list of formula. So tan 2a is equal to 2 tan a over this. So let's write this down. So 2 is going to be the same, and tan 2 theta will be 2 tan theta over 1 minus tan square theta. Now as you guys know, when you have something in the bottom, you can just send this up. You will have 2 times 1 minus tan square theta over 2 tan theta. Okay, that is the simplification of this one to this. Now finally, let's bring this both back to this equation. So you will see on one side you will have this one, which is tan theta plus 1 over 1 minus tan theta, and that is supposed to equal to 2 1 minus tan square theta over 2 tan theta. Now we have to basically simplify and see what can be done. Right, now we have to, let's see, what do you want to do. Here we can just simplify those two. And what else we have? So I think that's probably it. Let's do cross multiply. Okay, so let's send this over here. You will have tan square theta, tan theta plus 1, and this one over here you will have 1 minus tan square theta times 1 minus tan theta. Now simplify. This will give you tan power 3 theta plus tan square theta is equal to, expand this one as well, 1 by 1. 1 times this will become the same thing, minus this time this will become Okay, so you will have this expansion. Now you can check for the values. You can see here we have the same thing. They will cancel out. Now simplify. Let's send everything to one side. You will have, here we have 1 plus, you will become 2 tan square theta plus tan theta minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is a quadratic equation. You have square here and no square minus constant equal to 0. So now we have to solve the equation. So first express as a quadratic, then solve the equation for the value of theta in your first quadrant. Okay, so let's do that. So let's see if we can factorize this. That will be 2 tan theta times tan theta, and 1 is obviously tan, so 1 times 1. Now to get the plus 1, we have to have plus 2 minus 1. So tan theta minus 1, so 2 here, is equal to 0, or tan theta plus 1 is equal to 0. So now remember, the value of theta we need is only in your first quadrant. Okay, so this one will be tan theta is equal to half. Since theta is positive, it will be in your first quadrant and your third quadrant. So we don't need the third quadrant because we only need the one in the first quadrant, which is all we need. Now for this one, tan theta will be minus 1. Now for negative value, it will be in your second quadrant and your fourth quadrant. So we don't need this value, so we don't need to calculate this. So we only need this one. Now a tan inverse of 0.5, that should give you, in terms of degrees of course, that will be 26. So theta will be 26.6 degrees. Okay, and that is your question number 5. As you can see, everything was solved step by step. Do not rush yourself. Look at your formula properly and break it down step by step. Follow the principles of cross multiplication, and yeah, so just like that, factorize, and you will find your answer. Always step by step. Don't rush. Now let's move on to question number 6. So here we have to, by sketching a suitable pair of graphs, show that the curve this and this has equal exactly one real root. So pretty easy. As you can see, we have this equation on one side and this equation on the other side. So let's break it down into two parts. So basically we have to draw y equal to x power 5 and y equal to 2 plus x. So this one you guys must know by now, it is a straight line. You can draw that pretty easily. But this one you might be confused, I'm not too sure either. So let's do one step by step. The first step is to draw your axis. Okay, so I have my horizontal axis. Okay, this is my vertical axis, and let's see what can we label these values as. So this is your values for x, and this is your values for y. Now let's take a few values to see what happens. So I'll take a few values here of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. So let's take some more, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. So we can clearly see what's happening. Okay, so that will be 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2. And same way, label your vertical axis to help you to find somewhat of a scale to help you to draw. So you have this. Okay, so let's use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So hey, you can use any scale you want to use. You don't need to copy mine. You can just put 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is up to you. I'm doing this because so I can see what's happening more clearly. Okay, it is up to you to choose your scale to draw the diagram. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Now let's first draw the straight line. Okay, so when the value of x equal to 0, y is 2. So we have the point 0, 2. Yeah, so 0, 2 will be here, not here. So 0, 2 is this point. And then when the value of, let's say when the value of y is 0, x will be minus 2. So minus 2, 0. So now we have 2 points. We can just connect them to form the line on one side. That is the line that we need. Now to draw the curve, we don't know what to do because we might not know the shape of the curve. So let me continue this some more so we can see the difference. Okay, that will be the line. Now you have to label the line. That is y equal to 2x, or 2 plus x. Okay, that is the line. Now we have to draw the curve. So the curve, let's say you don't know what to do. So what you can do is just take some values. Let's say x here. Take value of minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, and 2. And find the corresponding value of y. You know y is equal to x power 5, right? By the equation of the curve. So let's just replace the value of x in this equation. So what is y when x is equal to minus 2? So minus 2 power 5. That will be minus 32. Now minus 1 power minus 5. So power 5 will be minus 1. And that will be power, so 0 powers anything will be 0 as well. This will be 1 and this will be 32. As you can see, you have a few points that will help you to draw your curve. So let's plot them. I will use a different color here. I have the first point is 0, 0. And then I have 1, 1. And then I have minus 1, 1. And then I have 232 will be way above, right? 232 will be up. Let's put some value up here, for example, to draw. And then minus 232 will be really way up as well. Okay, so we can try to connect them. Something will be like this here. But here you have to go way up to go to 32. Okay, so same thing here. Have to go way up to connect to 32. As you can see, these two curves meet at only one point. And that is why it has only one exact one real root. So write down, since the line and the curve meets at only one point, they have, so the equation have only one real root. Okay, that is your answer for part A. Now for part B, we have to show if a sequence of values given by this formula converges, then it converges to the root in part A. So pretty easy. We just have to simplify this. So here we have x is equal to 4x power 5 plus 2 over 5x power 4 plus 1. So we just have to show this equation right here become the same as this one. It was given back to us from the main question. So we have to show this become this. So it always step by step. So here we have to, first thing is cross multiply. You will have 5x power 5 plus x is equal to 4x power 5 plus 2. So times 1, that will be the same thing, okay? Now, I can send this over here. You will have what? Let's see. So, okay, this is minus 1. Okay, minus 1 here. So you will have minus x. Sorry about that. So we send this over here. You will have 5x5 minus 4x power 5. That should be x power 5. And when you send this over here, you will have x plus 2. And this is the same as the equation given to us. You can write shown as required. It converges back to the root in part 1. Now let's move on to part C of your question. Now, the value of C is, use the formula given to you with the initial value of x1 equal to 1.5 and calculate the root correct to 3 decimal place, but give the result of each iteration correct to 5 decimal place. So you have to listen to what they are telling you. You have to read properly. So you will first begin with a value of 1.5, and then you will give your final answer to 3 decimal place, but each iteration has to be 5 decimal place. So the formula here is xn plus 1 is equal to 4x power 5 n plus 2 over 5x power 4 n minus 1. So the first value, we have to take it as 1.5. So basically 1.5 will be your first value as your answer. Then we have to replace back in this equation. So 4 answer power 5 plus 2 divided by 5 answer power 4 minus 1. So x2 will be what? Will be 1.33162. So we have to give correct to 5 decimal place the result of each iteration. Okay, 5 decimal place. Now x3, that will be 1.27352. Now x4 will be 1.26724. x5 will be 1.26717. X power 6 will be 1.26717. X power x7, that will be 1.26717. Okay, as you can see, they are the same values going on. So let's take the value of x to be 1.267, correct, to 3 decimal place for your final answer. And that will be your question number 6. So just to recap, when drawing a curve, you don't know how to draw the curve, take a few values for x and find the corresponding values of y. And then you just have to join all the points to form your curve. And then that should be pretty simple. And make sure you read your questions properly to see what they are asking you for your full 3 marks. And that is question number 6. Always step by step. Do not rush the questions. Now that was question number 6. Now let's move on to question number 7. So part A, we have to express this as a partial fraction. So how can you express this? Here we have 2 linear factors. So we can write, let f of x is equal to a over 2x minus 1 plus b over 2x plus 1. Okay, so now we have to multiply them by this value. So you will have 2 on one side is equal to a over this times this will give you 2x plus 1, yeah, and then b over this times this will give you b times 2x minus 1. Now let's find the values of a and b. So first, let me choose the value of x equal to half. So you will have 2 here. Here you will have a. 2 times half is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now here will become 1 minus 1 is 0. So a will have to be equal to. So here we have 2. A is equal to 2. So a is equal to 1. That's the first value. Now let's take the value of x to be minus half. You will have 2 on the left hand side. A times minus half is minus 1. So 2 times minus half is minus 1. Minus 1 will be 0 plus b. 2 times minus half will be minus 1. Minus 1 minus 1 will be minus 2. So you have 2 is equal to minus 2b. So finally b will be minus 1. So we can write down f of x is equal to a is 1 over 2x minus 1 and b is minus 1 over 2x plus 1. Now you may ask, how did I choose these 2 values? So pretty easy. I just look inside this and this. For the first one, I wanted to make b become 0, so I just did 2x minus 1 equate to 0. Find the value of x. X will be 1 over 2. So that's how I chose 1 over 2. Now for this one, I wanted to make a become 0. I took the value inside. I equate that to 0. So x will be equal to minus half, and that's why I took this value. So a becomes 0, and then you can find the value of b. So that is for part A. Now for part B, using your answer to part A, we have to show this is true. So here we have to use a trick to make it simple for us. So here what we can do here is, let's call this one u, and just the base, let's call it u, and this one let's call it v. Okay, so right now you will have f of x is equal to 1 over u minus 1 over v. So let. So how would you expand f of x square? That will be 1 over u minus 1 over v square. So step by step always. So let me use a different color here. So that will give you, first one will be 1 over u square. That become plus 2 1 over u times minus 1 over v plus minus 1 over v square. That will be the expansion of this one. Now this is equal to 1 over u square minus 2 over uv minus 1 over v square. Okay, so we just have to simplify now. We know that we took the value of u to be this one, and we took v to be 2x plus 1. Replace back in your equation, you will have 1 over u square will become 2x minus 1 square minus 2 over u is 2x minus 1, v is 2x plus 1, and finally we have, so here it has to write plus, so because when you square the inside it will become plus, so we have to write plus here. So that will be plus 1 over v square is 2x plus 1 square. Okay, so as you can see, we have these two already. These two is done. Now what is the breakdown of this one? Now if you observe, this is exactly just like your f of x given to you in your main question, 2 over these two, and this is 2 over this two. And we know that f of x is equal to, from part 1, it is 1 over 2x minus 1 minus 1 over 2x plus 1. So we place this one back in your equation. So finally, let me use a different color here. So finally you will have 1 over 2x minus 1 power 2. When you have minus here, you have to apply that. You will have minus 1 over 2x minus 1. So minus become plus 1 over 2x plus 1, and finally plus 1 over 2x plus 1 square. That will be your part B shown as required. So as you can see, always step by step, and always try things that will help you to solve the equation. Okay, that will be for part B. Now for part C, hence show that this will equal to this. So let's begin from the left hand side, right? So at first we know what? We know that, so let me write this down again. So if you observe here, this can be rewritten as what? So if you want to bring this power up, you will have 2x minus 1 power minus 2. This is the same, right? 2x plus 1 plus 1 over 2x plus 1 plus 2x plus 1 power minus 2. So whenever it is not square, we leave it below. That's okay, that's pretty easy. Whenever it is square, let's bring it up to help you to solve this one. So basically right now we are integrating for 2 and 1 for 2x minus 1 power minus 2 minus 1 over 2x plus 1 and plus 1 over, so it is minus 1 over 2x plus 1 plus 2x plus 1 power minus 2 by dx. So step by step, one by one. The first one, integration will give you, first we have to increase the power by 1. You will have minus 1. So minus 2 plus 1 will be minus 1. Then we have to divide by the power, then divide by the differentiation of the inside, that will be 2. Now this one we have minus here, write down minus, and we have 1 over 2x minus 1. We can take ln of the value inside, which is 2x minus 1. Then we have to divide by the differentiation of the inside, that will be 2. Here we have plus, and then same thing, we have take ln of 2x plus 1, divide by the differentiation of the inside, that will be 2. This one as well, we have to first add 1 to the power, become minus 1, divide by the power, times divide by the differentiation of the inside, that will be 2. And this of course is between the limits of 2 and 1. Now we have to simplify and solve. So let's try to replace the values in one by one. So let's take the value of 2 first. So let me first simplify, because it is kind of hard to work with power minus 1. Let me simplify this first for you guys. So you will have minus 1 over 2, that will be 2x minus 1, minus 1 over 2 ln of 2x minus 1, plus 1 over 2 ln of 2x plus 1, and then finally minus 1 over 2 of 2x plus 1. That will be 2 and 1. So let's find the one by one. So let's take the value 2 first. So minus 1. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 times 2 will be 6. Minus 1 over 2. That will be ln. 2 times 2 is 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay. And then here we have plus ln of half ln of 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5, minus half, and 2 times 2, that will be 5, that will be 10, right? 2 times 5 will be 10. That is when the values of x is equal to 2. So now we have to minus when the values of x is equal to 1. So minus 1 will be minus 1 over. So here we have 2 times 1 minus 1 is 1, times 2 will be 2. Minus 1 over 2. We have ln of 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. So ln of 1 is 0. Okay, you can check. Ln of 1 is 0. So that will be 0. Plus half ln of. So replace, you will have 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And then we have minus 1 over. So that will be 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Times 2 will be 6. Okay, so we have this and this to simplify. As you can see, we did not rush. We always did step by step. Do not rush. Now let's simplify the first part. Here you will have what? So let me see. So I will have. So let me just expand everything, because it's not wise to. You have this. Ln of 3 plus half ln of 5 and minus 1 over 10. Okay, that should be 1 over 10. And then what else do we have? We have minus here. Let's bring out the sign here inside. You will have minus times minus half will be plus half. That will be 0. Okay, cancel out. Become minus 1 to ln 3 plus 1 over 6. Now as you can see, this one will cancel out with this one. And which one will we, so here we can combine those two. So here we have minus half ln 3 minus half ln 3. So minus half is 1. Okay, so you have minus ln 3. So these two will be becoming this. Now we have what? We have plus half of ln 5 and minus 1 over. So 1 over 10 plus half. We have to simplify those two. So first let's try to simplify this and this. So this one is easy. Let's do this one first. Minus 1 over 10 plus half. That should give you 2 over 5. This becomes 2 over 5. Okay. And what does this become? So if you observe, in the question here we need half to be here as well. So how can you make this become half? So let's see what is possible. So here we have ln of 3, right? Ln of 3. Now what is 3? 3 is root of 9, which is 9 power half. So we have ln of 3 is ln of 9 power half. So now we can send the power to the front. You will have half ln of 9. So replace this by this value. You will have minus half ln of 9 plus half ln of 5. And this is just plus 2 over 5. Now to simplify this, let's try this trick. So let's first factorize the value of half outside. You will have ln of 5 minus ln of 9. Now using the laws of logarithm, when you have minus, when you have the same logarithm, you can combine them into one thing, which is ln of 5 divided by 9. So going back, replace this by this, you will have your answer is half of ln 5 over 9 plus 2 over 5. And this is exactly as this value here. So basically, this is shown as required. Okay. So as you can see, this one is pretty long, and it's always very easy to make mistakes on those kind of questions. So I did this step by step, one by one. Just like that, you should solve your question always step by step, one by one. Do not rush on these kind of questions because it is very easy to make mistakes. And that is your question number 7. Let's move on to question number 8. Relative to a point O, the points A, B, and D have position vectors OA, OB, and OD. So we have these 3 positions. So now you have to understand, whenever they say position vectors, it means from the point O. Okay, that's why they write OA, OB, and OD. Now a fourth point C is such that A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. Now question part A, find the position vector of C, which means we have to find OC. Okay, and verify that the parallelogram is not a rhombus. So one by one, what is a parallelogram? So you have to draw this first so you can understand what's happening. For example, we know that it has 2 sides are equal and they are parallel with each other, and the same for the other one as well, equal and parallel to each other. So now we have the position of A here. We have to write them in correct order: A, B, C, and D. So the properties is, we know that these 2 sides are equal, right, and parallel, and we know that these 2 sides are equal and parallel. So these are the properties of a parallelogram. Now we have to use that information to find the position vector of C. So you realize by observation that AB is equal to DC, right? So this direction is the same as the direction, and they have the same length as well. So how do you find AB? It is OB minus OA and OC. So this one will be OC minus OD. Now we have to make OC become the subject of formula because we're trying to find that value. So OC will be OB minus OA plus OD. Now let's solve this equation. Let's just replace the values and simplify. OB has been given to you by 1, 2, 1 minus OA. Sorry, mistake here. OB is actually 2, 5, 3, not 1, 2, 1. OA is 1, 2, 1, but OB is 2, 5, 3. And plus OD is 3. And here we don't have a J, which means plus 0J. And that will be 0 and 2. Okay. Now we just have to evaluate this subtraction and addition. 2 minus 1 is 1, plus 3 is 4. 5 minus 2 is 3. And then we have 3 minus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. So finally, OC will be equal to this vector. Now if you want to write this down as this as well, 4i plus 3j and then plus 4k. That is your answer for part 1. Now let's move on to the next part. We have to verify that the parallelogram is not a rhombus. So first thing, you have to know what is a rhombus. Let's write down the properties of a rhombus. So let's do that. So you can know as well, so rhombus is a quadrilateral with all 4 equal sides, okay, and the diagonals intersect at 90 degrees. So we can use this or this property to show that it is not a parallelogram. Now, for example, let's make a drawing here so you can understand. So all the 4 sides has to be the same. So let's say it should be so let's say that's A, B, C, and D. As you can see, all the 4 sides are the same for this rhombus, and its diagonals, they will intersect at right angles. So let's check if you join those two, and if you join those two, they will be intersecting at 90 degrees. So by showing this is not true for this one, we can prove it is not a rhombus. So let's do that. What are their diagonals? As you can see, we have AC is a diagonal, and we have BD is also a diagonal. So let's find those two directions. So first, let's find the direction of AC. That will be OC minus OA. That will be what? OC is given to you by, right now we have 4, 3, 4, minus OA is 1, 2, 1. That should give you 4 minus 1 is 3, 3 minus 2 is 1, 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, and then we have to find the direction of BD. So BD is equal to OD minus OB. That is 3, 0, 2 minus 2, 5, 3. So you will have 3 minus 2 is 1, this is minus 5, and minus 1. So finally, we have to find the dot product of those two and show that it is not equal to 0. Because if it is equal to 0, it means that they intersect at 90 degrees. So let's do that. So we have AC dot product of BD. That will be what? 3, 1, 3 dot 1 minus 5 minus 1. That will be 3 times 1 is 3 minus 5 and minus 3. That should be minus 5, which is not equal to 0. Hence, you can write the parallelogram ABCD is not a rhombus. Now, that is one way of doing that. As I have explained, you can also use this information to prove that. Basically, you can prove that the length of AD is different from the length of DC, so it will show that all the sides are not equal. It will not be a rhombus. So that is another way of proving that. Now let's move on to part B of this question. So here we have to find the angle BAD, giving your answers in degrees. Okay, so the shape is like this, right? It is a parallelogram. Okay, that will be A, B, C, D. Now the angle BAD is this angle. So we have to find vectors in this direction and in this direction. So we have to find AB, which is OB minus OA. And that is from part 1, you know OB is 2, 5, 3. OA is 1, 2, 1. So AB will be 2 minus 1 is 1, 3, 2. That is direction of AB. And then we have to find the direction of AD. AD is given to you by OD minus OA. Now OD, it is given to you by 3, 0, 2 minus OA, which is 1, 2, 1. That will be 2 minus 2, and 1. So now since we have those two directions, to find the angle in between them, we can use our scalar product. Okay, so that will be pretty simple. We have to use the formula, which is AB dot AD. That will be equal to the modulus, which is the size, times cos of the angle. Cos of the angle. Let's call this one theta. So that will be theta. Now we just have to find those values. So AB is 132 dot AD will be 2 minus 2, 1 is equal to AB, the size will be what? So then we have to do 1 square plus 3 square plus 2 square. So 1 plus 9 plus 4 is 14. Then AD will be 2 square plus 2 square is 8 plus 1 is 9. That will be 9. And then cos of theta. Now we have to evaluate this product. So 1 times 2 is 2. Minus 6 is minus 4. Plus 3 is minus 2. Minus 2 is equal to root of 14 times 3 cos of theta. So finally, let's make cos of theta become the subject. You will have minus 2 divided by 3 root of 14. And then we have to find the angle. So pretty easy. That will be cos inverse of minus 2 over 3 root of 14. So that will be minus 2 divided by 3 root of 14. That will be 100.3 degrees. So always give your answer of degrees correct to 1 decimal place if it is not exact. And that is your answer for part B. Now let's move on to part C. Find the area of the parallelogram correct to 3SF. Okay. So now going back to the main diagram, if you see here we have the parallelogram and we also know the angle here, right? So one way of finding the area, we can first find the area of triangle ABD and then times 2 because this triangle is the same as this one. So let's do that. So first let's find the area of triangle ABD by using the formula half times sine of the angle, which is 100.3 degrees, and times the two sides, which is AD, and we have AB, right? So half sine of 100.3, and we know here that the size of AD is root of 9, and this is root of 14, so that will be root of 14 times root of 9. So let's simplify. So half sine of the angle 100.3 times root of 14 times root of 9. That will be 5.522. That is area for one of the triangles, but we have derived that area of of parallelogram is 2 times the area of triangle. That will be 2 times 5.522. So your answer will be times 2. That will be 11.0. And correct to 3SF, as you can see here. And we have to write, this is in terms of, we don't have centimeters, so we write units square. And that is your question number 8. So as you can see, we've done the question step by step using the information that was given to us, and then we work our way to the answers. Always step by step. Do not panic. Do not rush to the answer. Now let's move on to question number 9. So the complex number u and v are such that we have this is equal to this and this is equal to this. Now we have to find u and v, giving your answers in the form of x plus iy when x and y are real and exact. So if you observe, this looks a lot like when you have x minus y equal to 2 or x times y equal to 6. So when you had this, what did you do? You solve by substitution. It's like a simultaneous equation. So same thing here, same concept, but this here we have complex numbers. So first thing I can do is I can make u become the subject of formula. You have 2i plus w. Okay, that is my number 1 equation. So now I want to replace this one in the other one, which is uv. U is 2i plus w, so this is w, sorry, is equal to 6. Now let's expand. You will have 2iw plus w square equal to 6. Now let's bring everything to one side. You will have w square, and you have plus 2iw, and minus 6 is equal to 0. So what can we do now? So observe. So because we have minus 6 here, what else can we do about this? So if you guys know, I square is equal to minus 1. So we can write minus 6 as 6i square, right? So let's do that in this question. W square plus 2iw minus 6 becomes plus 6i square. Okay, now we can solve this equation. This is like a quadratic equation. If you observe, this is 1, this is 2, and this is the value of c. This is a, b, and c. Now we can solve by using our formula. Okay, so let's see how can we do that. So we have w is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4 times a times c. Okay, you will have this value here. Now everything, of course, divide by 2a, which is 2. Let's simplify the inside. So let's do this on the side so we can know the values. So I will do this right here. So here we have 2i squared, that will be 4i squared minus 24i squared. Now I squared, we can take it outside. We have 4 minus 24, and that will be I squared. That will be what? So 4 minus 20, 4 is minus 20, and that will be 20, because I squared is minus 1. Replace back in your equation. You will have w is equal to minus 2i plus minus root of 20 divided by 2. Now observe, what is root of 20? If you can simplify this, if you observe, root of 20 is equal to 4 times 5, right? So you can take out this 4, you will become 2 root 5. So your answer will be w is equal to minus 2i plus minus 2 root 5 over 2. So now we have two values of w. The first value, let's call it w1. It is minus 2i plus 2 root 5 over 2. Or it can be w equal to minus 2i minus 2 root 5 over 2. Now we can simplify. Divide by 2 everywhere, you will have minus I plus root of 5. Or it can be minus I minus root of 5. So this is the two values of w that we obtain, and then we have to find the value of u. So u is equal to 2i plus w, which is this, and that should give you 2i minus I will be I plus root 5. So for this value of w, this will be the value of u, and for this value of w, that should give you the value of so minus I, sorry, so we have to replace here 2i plus minus I plus root 5. This is not plus, minus, okay, so minus here, sorry. You have 2i minus I, that will be I, and here we have minus root 5. Okay, so these will be the two values that we get. So this is w and this is v, and for this value of w, so not v, you will get the value of u. So as you can see, we have solved this question step by step, and you will reach out to your two answers for this question, and that is part A of the question. Now let's move on to part B of the question number 9. On a sketch of an organ diagram, shade the region whose points represent the complex number z, satisfying these inequalities. So one by one. For the first one, you have to write this as z minus, and then you have to have a bracket so you can find your point, which is your center of rotation. Okay, so that will be 2 plus 2i less than 2. So basically this means this will be a circle, center 2 plus 2i and radius 2. Okay, and this one is your argument of z, which is the angle, is between 0 and pi by 4 is 45 degrees. Okay, and this is the real part is less than 3. So as you guys know, for this graph, this will be your real axis and this is your imaginary axis. So real part is basically a vertical line, has to be value 3 and less than 3. So let's draw everything together. So first let's draw our axis and label a scale so we can use that to help us find the correct locus. So that's my imaginary axis and have a real axis on this side. Okay, that will be labeled as real and this one is labeled as imaginary. Let me find a different pen. That will be, let's now find the scale. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Okay, so first let's draw this one. It is the complex numbers. Distance from z will be 2 plus 2i is the center of rotation, so that will be 2, and 2i will be right here. So let's mark the center of rotation. Should be about this point. This is your center of rotation. Now the radius has to be value 2. So 2, 2, and 2, that should be 4. Let's say it should be about this point. And 2 up, that should be 4i, right? So 2 up will be about this point. Now let's join everything together by a circle of radius 2 and center 2 plus 2i to form the correct locus. So let's try your best. Now you can use your compass if you want to use that, but since it says sketch, you can always use your hand to just draw the circle. But a compass is always going to be more accurate if you want to use that. Okay, that will be the circle of radius 2. That is the first part. Now it says the argument of z is between 0 degrees, for example, right? You will write 0 degrees and this is 45 degrees. So basically, if you observe, where is 45 degrees? It is exactly on the line of y equal to x. So it has to go to the point 2 plus 2i. So this is the line. So this is the value for 0 and 45 degrees. So basically, z will be in this region between those two lines. Okay, that will be part 2. Now part 3, the real part of z is less than or equal to 3. So we have to draw a vertical line for the real part of z. As you can see, this is the line real is equal to 3. So now we have to shade the region where z can be. So first one, it has to be inside of the circle. Okay, has to be between those two angles, so between this and this line, and then has to be on the left side of this. So basically, finally you end up with only this region, which is inside the circle, below this line, and also to the left of this one. And that should be your answer for question number 9. Let's move on to the last question of this paper. This is question number 10. So a tank containing water is in the form of a hemisphere. The axis is vertical and the lowest point is A and the radius is R as shown in the diagram. Now, the depth of water at time t is h. So depth is h basically. At time t equal to 0, the tank is full and the depth, which is h, is R. So let's underline this or put this in bracket because this is one of the things that we need to use later on. Now, at this instant, the tap A is opened and water begins to flow out. So you see here we have flow out. Water begins to flow out at a rate proportional to root of h. So we can derive an equation here. Water is volume, so here we have dV over dt. Because of rate, you can see it is proportional to root of h. So now, because it is flowing out, we have to write minus. Okay, so finally we can write dV by dt is equal to minus k root of h. Okay, that is one of the things we have based on that information. And then another thing we need to know is the tank becomes empty. Empty means the height or the depth becomes 0 at time t equal to 14. So that's something we need to know as well for later on. Okay, now question here, we have to show that h and t satisfy this equation, and we're also given that the volume V is given by this equation. So here we need to find dH by dt. How can you find dH by dt? So let's see how can we derive that. So dH by dt is equal to what? We can use chain rule. On top we have dH, on the bottom we have dt. So now we have to multiply by something, and what are these two related to? As observed here, t, it is connected to h, but also to v. As you can see here, t is to v and v is to h, so these two will be connected to by dv. So this first one here we know already. As you can see, dv by dt is equal to this one, so we need to find this value. So how do you find dH by dv? But first we know that v is equal to 1 over 3 pi times 3 or h squared minus h cubed. Now let's expand this bracket. That will become 3 times 1/3 is 1, so you get pi r h squared minus 1 over 3 pi h cubed. So that is the value of v when it is expanded. Now you want to find dv by dh first. So dv by dh is given by 2 pi rh minus pi h squared. From this you can find dH by dv. So we just have to flip this upside down, which becomes 1 divided by 2 pi rh minus h, so pi h squared. Right. Now let's see what can we do now. So we have to replace this value back in the equation to find this value, right? So let's do that. As you can see, everything was done step by step, and this helps us to know exactly what we are doing and what are the values that we need to use to get what we want. Okay, this is equal to dH over dV is equal to this one, 1 over 2 pi rh minus pi h squared times dV over dt is equal to minus k times root of h. Now as you can see here, we don't have the value up. We have to eliminate this value based on what we need, right? So how are you going to eliminate the value of root of h? So if you observe, root of h is also equal to h power half, right? Now for the base, on the base here we have h and we have h squared. So h is equal to h power half times h power half, and h squared is equal to h power 3 over 2 times h power half. So if you were to replace this back here, you will have what? So let's see. So I will have 2 for the base of this. Let me do this on the side. We have 2 pi rh power half times h power half minus pi h 3 over 2 times h half. Now we can factorize this out. You will have this, and then we have 2 pi r h power half, so this is not here, minus pi h 3 over 2. As you can see, we can replace this back in the main equation. So right now you will have minus k h power half divided by h power half will be factorized outside, and you will have 2 pi r h power half minus pi h power 3 over 2. So these two will cancel out, and you will have minus k over 2 pi r h power half minus pi h 3 over 2. So now the only thing left is we have to show that it becomes b, and we have to eliminate the value of pi, because here we have pi. So here we have both, we have pi, we can factorize pi outside. If you factorize pi outside, you will have 2r h half minus h 3 over 2. Okay, so here you will have minus is outside, k over pi 2r h half minus h 3 over 2. So basically k over pi is also a constant. It can be written as b, which is a positive constant. So finally, the last step is just to replace this value by b. So you will have this is equal to, which is dh by dt is equal to what? Minus b over pi is away, so we have 2 r h power half minus h 3 over 2. And this is your answer for part A, shown as required. Now moving on to part B of the question, we have to solve the equation and then obtain an expression for t in terms of h and r. So first thing is solve the equation. So we know we have dh over dr is equal to minus b over 2r h power half minus h 3 over 2. So step by step, what can we do? We have to send all the h to one side and all the, this is dt, sorry, and t to one side. So we have to cross multiply. You will have 2r h power half minus h 3 over 2 by dh is equal to minus b by dt. So now since we have this, now we can apply integration on both sides. So this one is easy. You will get minus bt plus c on the right hand side, but you have to do this one. This will become 2r is a multiple. You can just leave this outside. And we have to add 1, become 3 over 2, and divide by the power. This is same thing. Add 1 becomes 5 over 2, divide by 5 over 2. And this will give you what? Let's simplify. You will have 4r h 3 over 2 divided by 3 minus 2h 5 over 2 divided by 5. Now let's put this back into the main equation. Let me use a different color here so we're not confused. So on the left hand side, I will have this one, which is 4 over 3 r h 3 over 2 minus 2 over 5 h 5 over 2. That is equal to minus bt plus c. Now this is the equation, and we need to find the value of b and the value of c. So to find this value, we have to go back to the question and use the information given. So at time t equal to 0, the value of depth is h is equal to r. So let's write this down. At t equal to 0, h is equal to r. So let's replace that back in our equation. So here we have 4 over 3 r times r 3 over 2 minus 2 5 times r 5 over 2 equal to b t is 0, that becomes 0 plus c. So finally c is equal to what? Let's see, simplify. This is 1, so 4 over 3 r 5 over 2 minus 2 over 5 r 5 over 2. So we can just minus these two. Let's see what happens. 4 over 3 minus 2 over 5, that will become 14 over 15. So we conclude that c is 14 over 15 r 5 over 2. That is your value of c. Now let's replace this back in your equation. So on one side you will have 4 over 3 r h 3 over 2 minus 2h 5 over 2 is equal to minus bt plus 14 over 15 all power 5 over 2. Now we have to find the value of b. So again, going back to your question, it will tell you that when the tank becomes empty, which is h as 0, time is equal to 14. So let's replace the value. So we know that when t is equal to 14, h has to be 0 because it is empty, right? Now let's make b become the subject of formula. So send everything to one side. You will have bt is equal to 14 over 15 or 5 over 2 plus 2 over 5 h 5 over 2 minus 4 over 3 h 3 over 2. Okay, now let's replace those values in the equation. So t is 14, 14b is equal to 14 over 15 times r 5 over 2 plus, so h is 0, so everything will be 0 here, so plus 0. So basically we conclude that the value of b is equal to 1 over 15 times r 5 power 2. Sorry, it's r power 5 over 2. So replace everything back to your equation. So on one side you will have 1 over 15 r 5 over 2 is equal to 14 over 15 r 5 over 2 plus 2 over 5 h 5 over 2 minus 4 over 3 h 3 over 2. Now, since we know all the values now, we have to make t in terms of h and r. So as you can see here, we have to express t in terms of h and r. So t is actually here. This is the value of b. So t, so bt, right? T times b. We have to make t become the subject of formula. So let's do this step by step, as always. So first thing here, if I want to eliminate the denominator, I can multiply by 15. Okay, you will have t r 5 over 2 equal to 14 r 5 over 2 plus, so 2 over 5 times 15, that will be 3 times 2, that will be 6 h over 5 minus 4 over 3 times 15, that should be 20 h 3 over 2. Now we have to eliminate this value, so we have to divide by this everywhere. You will have t is equal to 14 plus 6 h 5 over 2 divided by r 5 over 2 minus 20 h 3 over 2 divided by, so I think I missed something here, if I believe. So let me check. Something might be missing in my values because I think I have something here, right? Let's see. Here we have r that I did not bring with me in the end. So r is here, it is here, and here I did not write r. As you can see, that was missing. So you have to be careful when you do this question. So you have r here, and here we are supposed to have r, and here we are supposed to have r as well. So your answer will be this divided by r 5 over 2. Okay, so now we just have to simplify. Just to let me write this on the new page. So right now I have basically t is equal to 14 plus, we can take out 6, that will become h over r power 5 over 2 minus 20, and that will become the same thing, which is h over r and then 3 over 2. And why is that? We can check. So here we have r divided by this, so r divided by r 5 over 2. That will become r1 minus 5 over 2. That will be r power minus 3 over 2, which is 1 over r 3 over 2. So when you bring this down, you will have the same power as the h, so you can factorize to show this. So finally, this is your answer for expression of t in terms of r and h, as you can see. And this is the last question. So I hope that was somewhat helpful. As always, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you soon. And good luck for your exams. And always remember to not be stressed, be calm, be positive, and do every question step by step, and never leave a blank page. Thank you. I will see you soon.